not a villain. Of course I'm not. You always told yourself. Is it really true though? You thought. Throughout your whole life you'd been told that your Kirk was one of a villains. There was also the general insult that you were a villain. You stayed strong though, and continued to try and become a hero, even after you weren't accepted into the UA for your Kirk being too dangerous. You never wanted to agree, but you always knew they were right. I'm sorry, sir, but you were the one that decided to push me. You sighed, looking down at the slowly disappearing body below you. You were out late at night, taking a walk as you usually did. There wasn't much you could do in the day. If you went out, there was always the fear that you would bump into someone. Then you'd be put in jail for murder. But at night, there wasn't enough people to notice. And if there were several people to witness, you'd just destroy all the evidence. You put your hands back in your pocket as you walked off the hallway, hoping that no pro heroes were around to see you. You decided that the night had been long enough, and started walking home. Living somewhere as busy as Japan, to keep a low profile you didn't walk in the safest of places. The most people you had around to hear were drug dealers, addicts, and homeless people. Occasionally a few gang members, but if they really were a threat, you could end them in a second. "Give me your money, bitch," a drunk guy said, stepping out of another hallway. He was holding a knife, and seemed to stumble slightly as he stood. You stayed silent, letting one of your hands fall to your side. Oddly enough, your quirk didn't affect you. If you grabbed your own hand with all your fingers, there was no repercussions. So, it seemed to only affect other people and objects. "I don't have anything," you said, getting ready to attack if he did. "Bullshit," he spat. "Please, get out of my way. I don't have any—" You got cut off as someone jumped in front of you. "Sir, please put down the knife. You are coming with me," the man now in front of you said. He was dressed in dark colors, with these scarf things around his neck. Since his back was facing you, his facial features were unknown to you. I ain't gone down with," the man tried saying, but passed out before he could. "Miss, are you okay?" the hero asked, going to grab your wrist. "Don't touch me!" you suddenly shrieked, jumping away. He raised an eyebrow as he looked over at you concerned. "I am sorry," you said, running away in the opposite direction. From what you could tell, the hero wasn't following you. "Great, now I have to take the long way home," you say to yourself. You could be going back, but there was a chance you would be running into that hero again. "Ryan, what seems to bring you over here?" a familiar voice said. You turned around to see the same tall, spiky-haired guy you practically grown up with. "What, don't you understand the phrase 'steal the mission'?" the shorter person beside him said. "I haven't seen you in forever." He cut you off before you could say his name. "I go by David now, since the last time we talked," he interrupted. "Seriously, Davy? Well, it's nice to see you again." You smiled, shaking his hand with your pinky lift up. You would be preferred hugging your old friend, but too many accidents happened when you have in the past. "Oh, someone who knows Davy's real name? Who are you, anyway?" the blonde girl that was also beside the two said. "I am YN. Who are you?" you asked. "I want to hear more about you, YN. I'm Toga. Let's be friends," she replied, grabbing your hand. You didn't even realize she'd done that until she immediately let go. Her fingers were disappearing into static, before stopping, then returning back to normal. She had a shocked look on her face as she watched it. "I'm sorry. Are you okay?" you asked, worried that you accidentally hurt someone again. "That was so cool. What's your quirk?" she exclaimed, bouncing up and down out of excitement. You were taken aback for a second, thinking, that's not how normal people act when their hands begins to phase out of existence. It gotten worse, hasn't it? How many people was it tonight? 5, 6? Davy asked. Only 3. It was almost 4, but some hero was over there. He shouldn't have followed me, but I haven't seen him since, you said looking back. She's coming with us, the blue-haired guy suddenly said. He hadn't talked the whole time up until the statement, which you weren't quite sure of. You looked over him before answering. He wore a black hoodie and his hair covered his face. There wasn't much you could tell about him, appearance-wise. What? I didn't agree to this, you exclaimed. Yeah, she should come out with us, right, Davy? Toga giggled. It will be better than you deal with now, Wayan. You won't have to worry about the slip-ups, and when the time does come, you can release your quirk on as many people as you want. Davy said, a hint of sinister intent in his eyes. You took a second, really thinking it through. Go with these villains after everything you worked for in line to not be seen as one. But you knew you'd been sleeping lately. You felt as if you began caring less and less when you went out, even purposely killing people just for the fun of it. Fine, I'll go with you, you finally said, following the three back into the alleyway they came from. Toga was happily skipping along with everyone, and David was just being himself. The blue-haired guy seemed irritated, like he didn't want to be with these people. You conclude that joining them could be like a therapy for you, to realize that you had no chance of being a hero. One public slip up, and you would be in jail for the murder of hundreds. You four eventually reached a spot, but you bumped into the blue-haired guy while you were losing your thoughts. He grabbed the collar of your shirt with four of his fingers, leaving his pinky up. You only noticed the large purple vortex in front of you. The blue-haired guy practically threw you through it, and you landed on the hard ground. Where am I? You asked, looking around the bar. The location was completely unknown to you at the moment. Welcome to the League of Villains! Toga giggled at her own introduction. The League of Villains? Really? Davy, I didn't think you'd go this low. You shook your head at your friend. Hey, who is she? A guy in a black and white bodysuit and mask asked. She looks like a mess, the same guy added in a different voice. I am Wayan. You introduced yourself, a bit nervous from the sudden attention on you. There was quite a few people in the bar. The blue-haired guy finally spoke. She's staying with us, so get used to her. I am staying? You asked, watching as the portal closed behind you. Yes, and you better like it, he added, walking off. You stayed with the League of Villains even after the sudden notice that you were joining. Majority of the members accept you, especially after hearing about your cool quirk. Naturally, Shigaraki, you later found out was his name from Kurogiri, wanted you to be a part of the action squad that will attack UA. You had grown close to Shigaraki in the few months you'd be there now, and after All for One was arrested, you were highly concerned for Shigaraki. He would spend most of his time isolated from the rest of the league, and refused to tell anyone what's wrong when you asked. Shigaraki, you are up there? You asked, looking around the outside of the new villain's base. Go away, he grumbled. Shigaraki, you can't do this to yourself. Just talk to someone of us, at least, you said, walking a bit closer to him. Fuck off and stop bothering me, he replied. The irritation in his voice was obvious. The unsettling sound of him scratching his neck only increased as you got closer. No, not until you tried saying. Everything next seemed to happen in slow motion. He had turned around with his hand outstretched towards your face. His red eyes were wide, showing pure insanity, then complete shock. You'd seen him get mad at others in the league before, but he only ever went as far to threateningly place 4 fingers on their neck, arm, or face. You closed your eyes waiting for the pain of the skin on your face to start decaying. At least I'll live the end of my life happier than I ever have been, you thought. After a few seconds you feel nothing other than a slight pressure of Shigaraki's fingers on your skin. You wonder if this was how death by the cane felt like, because you felt nothing there really. You gently opened your eyes at the same time Shigaraki removed his hands. His eyes still display shock, and he seems to look at his hands in confusion. Nothing happened, he confirmed, looking up at you. You held your hand to your face, feeling no marks or crumbling skin. You reached out, holding the hand he still or in front of him. It was a bit risky, considering he could possibly disappear permanently if this was the case, but after about a minute nothing happened. Nothing happened? You repeat, in a bit shocked as well. Shigaraki moved his hand a bit, his fingers lacing with yours. It was out of character for him, but was just the effect of the shock that he was in. You let go of his hand quickly, pulling him into a tight hug. He stood there for a minute, unsure of what his response should be. In the end, he simply hugged you back. It was the first hug either of you have had in many years, and you both loved it.